movie, but Elvis and Hard Knocks. Jim Richards, President, CEO, KLLM Transport Services. Jim, good morning, sir. How are you?
I'm doing well, Paul. How are you doing?
Man, why, did I make you mad or something? I haven't talked to you in a long time.
It's been a while.
It has been a while.
You had better entertainment than me.
National, not so, sir. National Truck Drivers Appreciation Week. How are you celebrating it?
You know, it is a special week, and of course occurs every year. And we have special events going on at all of our terminals. We have 22 locations across the country, and so we've got we're cooking every day and just celebrating what they do for us each and every day out there on the highway. So it's a fun week.
Jim, how's the job market there?
You know, it's different, Paul. For the first time, and I've been here 36 years, and I think for the first time in my 36 years, we have actually had pretty good success, and it's been pretty easy hiring truck drivers over the last year. And as a matter of fact, we've actually suspended orientation for the last couple of weeks.
Wow.
So it's a little different, and we're all kind of scratching our head that a little bit different than what we've experienced in the past, and part of it is due to the economy being so slow. The entire industry is just really, really slow right now.
Well, yeah, I can understand that one. Is it getting any better, though? Because you talk to some people, and I guess it's different areas of the economy. Well, when you start looking at some people, the supply chain is still their number one problem.
Yeah, Paul, it's our entire industry. We've seen demand down about 15 to 20%, and we've not seen it. I'd like to tell you that it's getting better, but we've not seen it improving at this point. We really saw the decline at the end of last year. And it just has kind of we hit rock bottom about 3 or 4 months ago, it seems like, and we're just kind of bouncing around there. But about 95% of what we handle is food products, and it's really surprising. But historically, when inflation hits and prices are high, people tend to turn from beef to poultry, and Tyson Foods is our second largest customer. They're down dramatically, closing 4 plants, and so it's just a strange time out there. But personally, I think people just finally inflation caught up with them towards the end of last year. They maxed out their credit cards, they depleted their savings accounts, and folks are just not. They don't have the money to spend. And we're certainly seeing that. And we in the trucking business, we generally see downturns before the rest of the economy. So put your seatbelt on, because it's not good things ahead.
It's going to aggravate the hell out of you when you start hearing the pundits in the news or in Washington, D.C. talking about everything is hunky-dory, it's turning around, it's great, job employment is this, is that, there are no problems with the supply chain, and this stuff goes on. There's just nothing we can trust anymore. Well,
I mean, Paul, I hate to be blunt about it, but, everything you see there is just a flat lie. I can tell you real world is not what they're preaching. We feel real world, and I will tell you that the entire trucking industry is down about 20%. Everything we have from a cost standpoint has gone through the roof, from fuel to wages to trucks, trailers, components, parts. Just for example, our parts prices are up 50% year over year. That's unheard of. And so you've got trucking companies that are facing the highest cost they've ever had in their life. Demand is down. When demand's down, obviously you can't go to your customers for a higher price. So it's a very, very difficult time for us. It's the worst time I've seen in my 36 years, Paul.
It's what's going on at the kitchen table on steroids for folks in business. Basically it.
Absolutely. There's no question. The everyday worker that's paycheck to paycheck. If you look at it, it's $700 to $800 more than what they historically have had to spend for groceries and gas alone. And folks don't have $800 extra dollars sitting around disposable income. So unfortunately, people finally got to a point where they just had to start doing without and getting smarter, and we're certainly seeing that.
And then when you hear the president this morning and yesterday's announcement that he's appointed somebody to rebuild Ukraine, it just leaves a terrible taste in your mouth about what's going on in this country. And I don't think it's getting any better. Are you going to be able to have the entire fleet converted to electric by 3035, or even sooner than that?
Absolutely not. We don't even have. They don't even have capabilities at this point of any range whatsoever. There are a few electric vehicles running out there, but they're all running in a local environment.
Mm-hmm.
That basically takes overnight for them to charge, and the range is about 200 miles. We put about anywhere between 500 to 1,000 miles a day on a truck. That would limit you to about 200 miles a day per truck, and then sit there and have to charge up for 8 to 10 hours.
Yeah.
And on top of that, the cost of the vehicles is enormous. I mean, I think it's like $400,000 for a truck compared to $150. So it's just not feasible at this point. No charging stations, no infrastructure for that, and so I think that's a tall stretch. It's much more achievable in automobiles than it is in an 80,000-pound vehicle.
Have you seen in the last couple of 3 years under this administration new regulations that have just made things worse or better for that matter?
Well, nothing better, that's for sure. The owner-operator model, the independent contractor model, has been under attack, especially in the state of California. They basically have outlawed trucking companies' ability to have owner-operators. And what they don't realize is at the port in Los Angeles, 100% of the people pulling containers off of that port are owner-operators. So when you start talking about a backlog of containers, the administration did nothing but make it worse because they basically outlawed all the trucking companies that were pulling those containers off of those ships.
Where do we stand now as far as autonomous in the trucking industry? Because I know you guys, certainly at KLLM, because we've talked before, are on top of just about the latest technology. Where do you think the industry is as far as that's concerned?
Well, we are, Paul. We run about every bit of technology that you can run, and really all the manufacturers, Freightliner, Peterbilt, PACCAR, those kind of folks, they're all looking at more of a autopilot situation versus an autonomous situation. So it's not that you're not going to have a driver in the truck. I think what they're focusing on is basically to have a driver in the truck that does the local pickup and deliveries inside the cities, and then once they get on the interstate, then they would plug in the coordinates and it would go to autopilot. So very, very similar situation to what you have in an airplane. Pilots are doing the takeoff and landing, but once they get in the air, they put it on autopilot. So that's the goal. There's really no movement whatsoever to eliminate a truck driver, out of the cab of the truck.
Yeah, and almost back to the stagecoach days of riding shotgun, because if the technology improves and civility does not, to leave a vehicle out there that's loaded with literally hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars worth of merchandise, and the open bandits on the road, that's another problem.
Well, absolutely. I mean, and that's part of the reason why the manufacturers are not even looking in that direction. I mean, you could have, some of these people hack into the computers of a truck. The next thing you know, you got a 80,000-pound truck, headed to the state capitol or the White House or whatever. So, I don't think there's a situation where anyone and the general public wouldn't feel comfortable without someone being in that truck that could take over. And so I just don't see that as potential in the near future, anyway.
I agree with you 100%, and I think you've just let the marketplace take care of it, and where it's almost like diesel, where diesel is better used than you use diesel. Where it's not, then you just use regular gas. But apparently, this administration can't do that and let the market take care of itself.
Well,
Jim
and
Richards,
I'll tell you this, Paul, all your large carriers, including us, I mean, we are very concerned about the environment, and all carriers are already doing things, at least the large carriers, to be more fuel efficient and do everything we can for the environment. So it's not that truckers are against improving the environment. We're certainly all on board with that, but we have to be reasonable and take it one step at a time instead of just trying to, go from 0 to 60 in 2 seconds.
It aggravates me when I hear things like that, though, Jim, because I'm a baby boomer, and from where we grew up, coming into adulthood in the 60s, late 60s, Man, we've come so far. We have done it from the catalytic converter to just about everything else. We've cleaned up oceans. We've cleaned up rivers. We've planted more trees. We've done a heck of a lot, and it's like that we are the greatest polluter in the world, where we are not. But then again, that's a good political question or topic for another day. Jim, always good to talk to you, sir. Don't be a stranger.
I won't, Paul, and I appreciate the opportunity. And
you got it.
Glad to talk anytime.
Good to have you on KLLM Transport.